Hey LeGrand Alive, this is your weekly Newsish Roundup, brought to you by Grand Run Hospital, Marketplace Family Foods, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Valley Realty, and Direct Music Source. For our first story, we're going to do something a little different than usual, like a gopher chased by a falcon. This week, for our lead story, we're going into the field. Hey LeGrand Alive, it's Will, and I'm here from the Daniel Chapman Building after my interview with Jack Howard, who, with a group of concerned citizens, has gotten together and are now starting, actually, a museum in Elgin, Oregon. This museum is going to preserve local artifacts, local farming equipment, local items of interest, essentially all put together so that they can preserve a sense of home for the city.
I remember home with a sense of smell, but I also have a vision in my mind of the bridge, and when I go over the bridge, I know I'm headed home. If we lose that, we've lost the single, whether it's the sense of smell, or where you met your girlfriend for the first time, the lighting that was behind her, or the first time you took her out to eat. If we lose that from these small towns, we will have lost something that no one will ever be able to replace with any digital image. It's a sense of touch, smell, caresses, hugs, friends. The small towns of America, as the song once said, is in all of us. The same small dust in every small town is in each of us. And if we lose that, we haven't just lost something valuable, we've lost our reality.
The museum has been gutted, and they've essentially gotten everything ready for the next step of making this building a reality. They're going to button it up for the year, but next year, about this time, Jack said, they could have some artifacts in the building. So, if you're interested in getting involved with the Elgin Museum, you can contact Jack Howard at the LeGrand Commissioner's office. You can call him directly and get involved that way. Well, that was fun. To be honest, I need to get out more because sometimes just standing here is a little boring for everybody. Sometimes my writing is bad, this off-white screen behind me is worse, and sometimes my hair looks like Jeremiah Johnson dressed up in a suit and tie and decided to get into television. Seriously, I need to get out more. So, that's what I'm going to do, LeGrand Alive. I'm going to get out more. So why don't you comment in the sections below and let me know about some stories I could go cover coming in the next couple weeks. The Meridell Center is holding their next haunted house Friday and Saturday all through October. And while I may be a little bit of a girly boy, I went down and through the haunted house this week and got some interviews and behind-the-scenes footage.
I just absolutely love Halloween. I love everything about it. I started doing this at my home. We started having a family party every year, and then one year I decided I wanted to do a haunted house in our basement. So I decorated our whole basement. I made my kids, who were just young at the time, you know, be the little actors down there and stuff. And one year, my neighbor, I had a next door neighbor who got into it with me, and so we decided to make this big haunted house using her house and my house. Somehow the word got out that we were doing this, and we opened the door and there was 200 people lined up down the sidewalk that wanted to go in through our little haunted thing. This will be my 11th year to do it, actually 12th if you count that first year at Russell Perry's house. And so we have tried this year to make it a little more interactive. Typically, one of our big rules is touch nothing and nothing will touch you, because we don't want people touching the actors and our actors aren't allowed to touch the customers. But this year we have some objects that will touch people.
I really tried hard this year to make sure that all of the scares this year, whether it's involving actors and actresses or it's just, you know, the operation of like a prop going off, the interaction, making it, you know, to where things can actually get really close to touching someone or even touching them without harming them, you know.
Before it was just more people went through and they were entertained or they were scared. Nothing touched them, they couldn't touch anything. This year we have things that actually touch them.
Getting that wow factor from when it really gets that close to you, you know, and in your head that alert goes off, oh, I'm gonna get hurt, but really you don't get hurt, you know. All those booby traps going off and just making people think this is it, you know. It's really fun to just trip people out and make them think that something bad is gonna happen when really it's completely safely rigged. So come enjoy our haunted house, you know. It's definitely a huge mystery when you walk in the doors. You never know what's gonna happen to you. You never know what's gonna scare you. So it's a lot of fun.
So for those of you with the gonads for ghouls, head down to the Meridell Center every Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. The Meridell Center is located on the corner of Washington and Depot Street. I don't really know what other jokes to make here. Just don't pee yourself, LeGrand Alive. It does happen. They actually told me so. Alright, so what else is happening this week? Well, the Grand Ronde Community Choir is singing up at EOU. So, if you want to hear penguins squeal, head up to EOU tonight. Just kidding. I'm sure they're way better than penguins, and they're not going to be squealing. And speaking of squealing, there is also live music at Earth and Vine at 7 p.m. on Friday. So join me in drowning your sorrows and a cup of wine and some blues this Friday, 7 p.m. Also, if you see random chairs sitting around in businesses around town this month, you could own one of them. Art Center East is hosting the Take a Seat fundraiser all through October. Essentially what that is a fundraiser where they gave a bunch of chairs to a bunch of artists and had them make art out of it. And then these chairs will be up for bid on November 5th. So, if you see a seat that would make your tush complete, be sure to head to Art Center East on November 5th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Chair jokes are hard, and chair transitions are harder. And you know what's hardest? Losing 5 straight games in a row. And thank God the Grand High School wasn't quite skilled enough to do that this weekend with their football team. In fact, they failed, losing 5 games in a row in a spectacular fashion this last weekend, beating the Dowls 63-6. The Riverhawks started with a touchdown, but after the first LHS touchdown, it was only downhill, and the river is exactly where the Riverhawks were, being tossed and turned all the way back home in a turgid confluence of shame and depression. I know, I've been on that long bus ride before. But hey, our LHS Tigers won. Their next upcoming game is this Friday against Baker at home, against whom they lost 20-18 earlier this season. Maybe this time, with the home field advantage and a lambast of an unfortunate 5A team in their wake, the Bulldogs will be the ones driving home, staring out the windows of the bus this weekend when LeGrand beats them. Anyways, in other prep football, Elgin lost to Colton 78-14, Cove lost to Pine 62-26, and Imler beat Portland Christian 36-26. The EOU soccer girls also couldn't complete their Herculean task of this weekend. They lost to Southern Oregon 1-0 and dropped the ball on their would-have-been 7-game shutout streak Saturday afternoon. The boys had the exact same experience against the exact same school. 1-0 loss, Southern Oregon wins, putting them at 6-4-1 to the girls 7-3-1, heading into this weekend against Rocky Mountain at home. The volleyball team, however, had a very different experience, trashing first Oregon Tech 3-0, and second Southern Oregon also 3-0. Those girls will head to Eugene this Friday and play at 7 p.m. And check it out. Next week, I won't be reading EOU Sports. We'll have a new segment from the EOU Sports guy, Seth Dolly, called Around the Mountain 90 Seconds, and he will, in much better form and taste, give you the skinny about the past and future of EOU athletics. And that's your weekly roundup. This roundup was brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Marketplace Family Foods, Valley Realty, Grand Ronde Hospital, and Direct Music Source. So, tune in for more local content to legrandalive.tv. I'm Will Bowman.